You're home alone tonight. The house is quiet, the lights are low, and suddenly, for no reason you can point to, the back of your neck prickles and you're certain, absolutely certain, that something is looking at you. You turn around. Nothing's there. But the feeling doesn't leave. It just sits in your chest, waiting. That sensation has a name, and it's older than your species. So let's start at the beginning, not with ghosts, not with the supernatural, but with a mechanism buried so deep in your nervous system that it fires before your conscious mind even knows what's happening. Neuroscientists call it gaze detection, and it may be one of the fastest, most primitive threat response systems the human brain has. Studies using brain imaging have identified a specific network involving the amygdala and the superior temporal sulcus that activates the instant your visual system detects something resembling eyes fixed on you. Here's what should unsettle you. This response happens faster than conscious recognition. Your brain reacts to the sense of being watched before you've even had time to think the words, "Am I being watched?" Think about what that means. Somewhere inside you, right now, there is a system constantly, silently scanning the environment for eyes, running in the background of every single moment of your life, whether you're aware of it or not. And here's what's strange. This system doesn't need much to trigger. Researchers studying gaze perception have found that even crude, minimal patterns, 2 dots and a line arranged vaguely like eyes, can activate this same detection response. Your brain isn't waiting for a fully formed face staring back at you. It's pattern matching on the barest suggestion of a gaze, and firing an alarm anyway. That's not a glitch. That's the feature working exactly as designed. To understand why, you have to go back to a world where being watched, and not knowing by what, was one of the most dangerous situations a human being could ever be in. For most of human history, our ancestors lived as prey as much as predators. On the open savanna, in dense forest, near rivers at dusk, a predator's stare, a lion crouched in tall grass, a leopard positioned in a tree, often preceded an attack by mere seconds. Evolutionary psychologists point out that individuals who could detect the subtle sense of being watched, even without consciously identifying the source, gained a critical survival advantage. A false alarm cost nothing but a flinch. A missed real threat could cost a life. Here's the terrifying part hiding underneath that trade-off. Evolution doesn't optimize for accuracy, it optimizes for survival, which means natural selection didn't build a system designed to correctly identify when you're actually being watched. It built a system heavily biased toward false positives, one that would rather make you feel watched 1,000 times for nothing than fail to warn you the one time it actually mattered. You are, quite literally, the descendant of the individuals whose brains screamed danger too often, rather than too rarely. The ones with quieter alarm systems didn't get the chance to pass anything down, and this is where everything changes. Because that ancient hypersensitivity didn't stay confined to open plains and predator-filled forests. It followed us indoors, into houses, into empty rooms, into the middle of the night, and it still fires exactly the same way, even when the actual danger no longer exists. Psychologists studying this phenomenon point to something called agency detection, a broader cognitive bias where the human brain defaults to assuming an event, a sound, a shifting shadow, a feeling in an empty room was caused by something with intention, rather than something random or mechanical. Researchers argue this bias likely evolved for the same reason gaze detection did. Mistaking a gust of wind for a predator costs you nothing. Mistaking a predator for a gust of wind can cost you everything. So the brain defaults, permanently, toward assuming intention first, and ruling it out only afterward, if ever. Here's what's strange about that default. It doesn't just apply to physical predators anymore. Studies have shown that this same agency detection bias appears to underlie many reports of feeling an unseen presence, sensing someone, in an empty room, or feeling watched in total darkness where visual confirmation is literally impossible. Your rational mind knows nothing is there, but the ancient system doesn't consult your rational mind before firing. It never did. And this is where the story gets genuinely uncomfortable, because researchers studying peripheral vision have found another piece of this puzzle. Your peripheral visual field is remarkably good at detecting motion and rough shapes, but remarkably poor at identifying exactly what those shapes are. In low light, in the corner of a dark room, your peripheral vision may register something, a shadow shifting, a shape at the edge of awareness, without ever giving your conscious mind enough information to confirm or deny what it saw. The brain, faced with that ambiguity, doesn't default to probably nothing. It defaults to possibly dangerous and floods your body with the exact physiological response your ancestors needed when a predator really was crouched in the grass. Racing heart, tightened chest, the overwhelming urge to turn around. Think about what that means. The prickling sensation on the back of your neck tonight isn't your imagination malfunctioning, it's a 5 million-year-old alarm system doing precisely what it was built to do, treating uncertainty itself as a threat worth responding to, whether or not anything is actually there. Here's what should genuinely disturb you. Some researchers studying isolation and sensory deprivation have found that this feeling intensifies dramatically in quiet, low-stimulation environments. Exactly the conditions of an empty house at night. With less external information coming in, your brain doesn't go quiet along with it. It fills the gap, drawing on ancient, deeply wired assumptions about what unexplained silence and unexplained stillness usually mean. So here's the full picture. The feeling of being watched when nobody's there isn't a flaw in your mind. It's the inherited residue of every ancestor who survived because they trusted a warning their conscious brain couldn't fully explain. Gaze detection wired to fire on the barest suggestion of eyes. Agency detection defaulting to intention over randomness. Peripheral vision filling ambiguous darkness with the shape of danger, just in case. All of it working together, exactly as designed, thousands of generations after the actual predators disappeared. Tonight, when that prickle runs down your neck in an empty, quiet room, you won't be imagining a threat. You'll be feeling the echo of every ancestor who once turned around just in time. Nothing may be there now, but something usually was, for the ones whose instincts you inherited. If a feeling this ordinary turns out to be 5 million years of survival instinct still running in the dark, imagine what else your body still remembers that your mind has long forgotten. That's what Yedd is for. Like this video and subscribe.